Hi guys, so this video is about day before exam strategy for CA Inter audit students. For this attempt, May 2023, I hope you have performed well the advanced accounts and now the turn is for audit. So now what are the chapters that we should give highest priority and what chapters we have to give least priority? As we have a very limited time, 1.5 day. More clearly, we hardly have, some 20 hours of time. Yes, we only have 20 hours of preparation time. Maybe the gap is, I can say, 1.5 day or 1/3/4 day, where if you convert into number of hours, you will get 36 hours. But absolutely 36 hours we can't study. 2 nights you need to sleep, right? So, and other stuff. So for that, some 36 to 40 hours out of the time whatever available, 20 hours will go for sleep. I mean, sleep means you need to have a proper rest, and hardly the time left for you is 20. If at all, maximum, if you are an extreme hard worker, 22 hours. So this is the productive time that you are having, you are left with for exam. Now, assuming it is 20 hours, I'm designing this. Now, first of all, tell me what are the subjects, I mean, what are the chapters that we are having? By the way, the material reference which I am using is, my Sreshta Institute material, which is my material. And I hope there are thousands of students who are reading from this material or my previous version material. This is my latest version material, which I released in June 2022. Now, if you look at my material, see, in the institute book, you are having totally 13 chapters. In the institute material, as per ICA material, you are totally having how many chapters? 13 chapters. Whereas in our material, we are totally having 17 plus 1. Sorry, 17 chapters. We are totally having how many? 17 chapters. Now, there is an order in which we need to read the subject, in which we need to learn the subject. If you learn the subject in this order, you get the best clarity, you get the best command. So, and moreover, these 17 chapters, I have divided them into 3 parts. These 17 chapters, what we did? We divided them into 3 parts. So what are they? Up to 5th chapter, this is part 1. Then 6th chapter onwards till the 12th chapter, we have classified it as part 2. Then in 13th chapter onwards, 17th chapter is part 3. And now, what are the chapters that we should give highest priority? Now that we need to first understand. Now, part number 1, what are the chapters that are covered in part number 1? In my material, you will find a chapter called Fundamentals of Auditing. Actually, from the chapter called Fundamentals, typically you will not find any weightage, but sometimes you can find a question like what is applicable financial reporting frameworks. 4 marks question can come. What is fair presentation framework? What is compliance framework? Like that, you might find some 3 or 4 marks question, which is very rare. Then nature, objective and scope of audit. See, fundamentals chapter weightage is 0 to 4 marks. 0. Mostly 0 marks. Sometimes you may get a 4 marks question. Then nature, objective and scope of audit. This chapter has 8 marks weightage. Yes, only this nature, objective and scope of audit chapter has approximately 8 marks weightage. Maybe 6 marks also may come. Then company audit, audit report and society's audit. These 3 chapters put together, we will have approximately 20 marks weightage. We will have approximately 20 marks, which means whatever chapters that we covered in part 1, you should not take any chance. You must study 100%. Suppose if at all you are a student who have not followed our material, you are following some other material or institute material, first finish reading these chapters. You will find cooperative societies in the ICA book as 13th chapter part C. Okay, so I have given here reference in ICA as well, which chapter in ICA material I'm talking about. So that reference also simultaneously given. By the way, I'm explaining you the strategy as per my material. Okay, next. Part 2 don't touch right now. Come to part 3. Immediately after you finish reading part 1, come to part 3. See, here my objective is, for learning there is a difference order, for revision there is a difference order, for day before exam the order must be based on marks, based on weightage. Now you look at part 3. In part 3, 13th chapter, right, as per my material. What is the 13th chapter? Standards. Don't touch it right now. Okay, after finishing part 1, what you need to do, straight away come to audit of banks, which is also having weightage of 6 marks to 8 marks. Then go for government audit and different types of entities. Go for government audit and different types of entities. This government audit is 13A. Audit of different types of entities is 13B. Cooperative societies is actually 13C. Getting it? These 3 chapters put together, the weightage is approximately 10 marks. The weightage is approximately 10 marks. Then you need to immediately study items of financials where the minimum weightage is 10 to 12 marks. Now what you need to study in items of financials, I'll give you the clue as well. If at all you followed my material, please follow my material. Then immediately watch my marathon. Immediately watch my audit marathon. So what marathon that you need to watch? Just a minute. Just a minute. So if you look at, if you click on the YouTube audit marathon Harsha, so you will find this marathon. This is actually CA Inter marathon. So inside this, I have given few important items of financial statements is there, right? Approximately 2 hours video I have made here. That 2 hours video, please watch it. Please watch the 2 hours video. Inside that, there are some important discussion. There are some important points which I discussed, like what are the disclosures in the financial statements related stuff and all. So that is very important in exams. Okay. So items of financial statements, read once from this material, or if at all you followed ICI material, happy, well and good. Watch that marathon items of financial statements video as well. Sir, now part 1, okay sir, I finished. Part 3, I finished except standards, sir. Except standards. Now what should I do? Now don't touch standards immediately. What you need to do, the next chapter, what you have to do? So what is the next chapter? Like I'll clearly mention company audit, audit report, fundamentals, nature, objective and scope, company audit, audit report, societies audit. Societies audit, please read immediately after audit report, because if you look at societies audit and audit report chapter and company audit, the points are very similar. That's why I kept in the part 1. Then audit of banks, then government audit, audit of different types of entities, audit of items of financial statements. So if at all you cover these chapters, I'm damn sure telling you, you can attempt a minimum 50 marks. 40 to 50 marks you can damn sure write. Minimum, that's a minimum weightage you can confidently attempt. Minimum weightage. It's not maximum again. Then if you still have time, come and revise audit in automated environment, because it's again a small chapter and has 5 marks weightage. Immediately what you need to do, audit in automated environment. It's a small chapter with good weightage. Then you need to study the chapter called documentation and evidence, fraud chapter, then audit sampling, these 3 chapters. So after part 1, after part 3, you need to study which chapters? First audit in automated environment, then documentation, then fraud, then audit sampling. I think covering these topics, whatever I mentioned, itself takes 20-22 hours. Suppose you finished revision very fast, still you are having time. Then last priority, analytical procedures. If you are still having the time, then come to standards on auditing. What standards are there in our material? See, most of the standards are covered in various chapters. First of all, many students are having a wrong assumption. Especially those who attended my classes will understand clearly what is standards chapter. In our class, in our lectures, in our material, what is standards chapter? Only these standards: 250, 501, 505, 510 and 560, 580. Only these chapters are covered in our standards chapter. Sir, there are 29 standards, sir, in CA Inter. How come only 5 or 6? Wait. Most of the standards are covered in audit report. Audit report contains approximately 700, 701, 705, 706, 710, 570, 299. All these standards we cover in audit report itself. Okay. Then documentation is nothing but 330, 230 and 500 topic. Fraud is nothing but 240 standard. Risk assessment is nothing but 315 standard. Sampling is nothing but 530 standard. Analytical is nothing but 520 standard. Audit strategy planning program is nothing but 300 and 320. Materiality 320, that is covered in this chapter. So obviously, apart from whatever standards we already discussed in chapters, what are the leftover standards? Only these. According to me, that is only standards chapter. You open institute material, you will not find standards chapter in ICA book. Instead of that, you will find a book called pronouncement book, nothing but. You will not find ICA book standards chapter. All these standards are explained in ICI book as part of documentation and evidence chapter. All these standards, whatever I said here, they were explained as part of audit, evidence and documentation chapter. That's it. So this is the order in which you need to plan. If you still have time, then audit strategy chapter. After that, risk assessment. Risk assessment and internal control should be your last priority, because it's a very lengthy chapter, very tricky chapter. Of course, 10 marks weightage is there, but it's very lengthy. Same 10 marks you can easily get by studying the chapter called sampling, by studying the chapter called analytical procedures, which you can finish much more faster. So follow this order. And I uploaded this video on 11th November evening. I think by this time you might have came out of the examination and looking for what to do now, this next, whatever the time available. Don't worry, in YouTube I have given my marathons. Like, you can find my marathon lectures. Okay, you can find my marathon lectures. You can find my marathon lecture, which is having close to 5 lakh views, approximately 4,75,000 views right now. And you can find my latest marathon of 10 hours. Most of the topics I have covered. Getting it? That's it. Okay, so take care, have a nice time.